Today's the day Canadians are paying less tax, part of Ottawa's temporary pause on some purchases. Ethel Musa spent the day with shoppers to see if the savings are adding up.
The holiday shopping season is in full swing, and Canadians looking for deals are getting a bit of relief with the temporary tax cut on some essential goods.
It's great right now around Christmas time because I'm going to quickly do my Christmas shopping and save a little bit of money.
I think overall it's a good positive move. I think the intention is to provide some relief and some aid.
The Liberal government's 2-month GST-HST holiday begins Saturday, giving Canadians a tax break on things like diapers, beer, and books. The initiative was announced in late November, which means small businesses had to act fast to get their sales systems in place.
We had to reprogram our cash registers.
This bookstore manager in Toronto admits there's been some confusion about what qualifies for the tax break and what doesn't. Still, he's hopeful the move will have a positive outcome for local businesses.
I think, especially given the Canada Post situation, I think people are concerned about getting gifts on time and things like that. So if this lets people, get out and get more for less, I think that's a great thing.
The federal government says it's about putting more money in Canadians' pockets and supporting small businesses beyond the busy holiday season.
You get this peak of sales in Christmas, but then what happens in January, February is this slump. With this tax break, it's going to be tremendous for small businesses because they'll have sustained sales.
But not everyone is convinced this change will lead to big savings.
You're not really saving, I think, that much. It's a couple dollars here, a couple dollars there, so the difference is negligible.
I mean, there's potential to help those who really need it, but the other thing is that it feels like vote buying.
The federal government's tax break period ends February 15th. Ethel Musa, CBC News, Toronto.
Some news to tell you about the Canada Post strike. Ottawa is proposing a so-called timeout, which could see mail service resume in just a matter of days. Clara Pasica explains.
Canada Post offices like this one behind me in downtown Toronto could soon be hopping with people hoping to get that Christmas card in just in the nick of time. That's because employees could be back on the job as early as next week.
The federal labor minister announced Friday he's intervening in the contract dispute that has seen workers off the job for about 4 weeks so far. Using special powers under the Labour Code, he's asked the Canada Industrial Relations Board to consider ordering Canada Post employees back to work as early as next week.
These parties have not reached an agreement on their own for a long, long time. I wanted to give them every possibility of doing that. We devoted every bit of mediation and other resources that we could.
Small businesses across the province say they've been hit hard.
Canada Post will have effectively been void for the entire holiday season, which has put enormous pressure on them. We've estimated the cost of the strike to be $100 million a day for small business owners, and probably by the time it is lifted, it will have cost small businesses close to $2 billion in losses or increased costs. That's money small business owners can ill afford to lose.
This business owner in Bolton says from wholesale impacts to getting deliveries to rural customers, it's been tough.
Well, it's welcome news to hear that there's been some intervention being taken because I felt that this was going to go on for quite a while. And I think it'll be a bit of a backlog, though, so it might be, I don't want to say too little too late, as if I'm ungrateful, but I don't think it's going to be enough to save the holiday season from my perspective as being a business owner, especially an e-commerce company as well, where we're shipping across Canada.
In a statement, Canada Post says, "We look forward to welcoming our employees back to work and serving Canadians and customers. We will take all appropriate steps to support that process as quickly as possible." The Canadian Union of Postal Workers says this order continues a deeply troubling pattern in which successive federal governments have used back-to-work legislation, or, in this case, its arbitrary powers, to let employers off the hook from bargaining in good faith.
So what happens next? The Labour Minister has appointed a special commissioner. That person's job will be to look at the fundamental reasons why the two sides haven't been able to reach a deal. They'll report back in May. In the meantime, the contract will be extended. And it's likely that the union will take the federal government to court, saying that they're violating their constitutional right to strike. But for now, workers could be back on the job in a matter of days. Clara Pasica, CBC News, Toronto.
They're fees that often get many air travelers fuming, charges for some carry-on items. But as Sophia Harris shows us, CEOs from the country's big airlines say the move offers flyers more flexibility.
The CEOs of Canada's major airlines in the hot seat, grilled by MPs about increasing airline fees.
Check bag $35 to $42, for advanced seating $15 to $80.
The executives were summoned to appear after Air Canada's announcement last week it will join WestJet and Porter Airlines in nixing free carry-on for lowest fare customers, forcing them to check for a fee, any bag that can't fit under the seat.
With this additional fee that you'll be charging Canadian passengers, you expect increased revenues in surplus of your over $2 billion profits?
Well, we also invest in a tremendous amount of money. All the profits we make, we reinvest. Yes? We reinvest in airplanes.
The end of free carry-on for lowest cost fares has left some passengers frustrated.
That's a bad thing, right? I don't really appreciate that. They're just trying to mint money out of everything.
The prices, recently have just gone up so much, especially the price for bags. It's insane.
But the airline CEOs argued charging extra fees means passengers only pay for the services they want, and that the costs airlines must pay to operate are the real culprits.
If we really care about affordability in Canada, the main hurdle are the sky-high and off-the-chart high fees and charges that government-controlled entities charge airlines.
There was a lot of puffing and puffing.
This airline analyst says grilling airline CEOs likely won't lead to much change.
The politicians have no power over the airlines in this one, and the airlines basically are saying, we're doing what the market wants, so leave us alone.
The end result of the meeting? More meetings to come. Meanwhile, Air Canada's end to free carry-on for its cheapest tickets takes off on January 3rd. Sophia Harris, CBC News, Toronto.
Premiers are set to meet this weekend in Toronto. Top of the agenda is Donald Trump's threat to impose a 25% tariff on Canadian goods. As Rafi Boudjikanian explains, each province has very different ideas on how to tackle the issue.
Premier. Mixed messages and tough talk from some Canadian politicians as they take aim at Donald Trump's tariff threat.
I'd prefer not to do any of this. I'd prefer to make a deal.
Ontario's premier is suggesting the province's liquor stores could stop buying American alcohol after threatening to cut off energy exports to the U.S.
But would I rather send them energy? Sell them more energy? Absolutely.
Cutting off power is a card BC says it could play too.
Washington State, Oregon, and California. We sold $1 billion worth of electricity to those states last year.
That has Washington State concerned, its governor saying it would hurt people in both jurisdictions to stop that trade. No one wins by turning our closest friends into enemies. But not all provinces are taking the same approach.
Long before we ever get to any tariff discussion or any short list discussion, there's some other work for us to do. Let's secure the borders.
Alberta's Danielle Smith says her province will not cut off energy exports to the U.S. And Quebec's François Legault points out he met Donald Trump last weekend and is convinced strengthening border security is the key.
If it comes to Alberta or Quebec, that's their choice. They believe in diplomacy. Good luck.
The federal government had asked for a Team Canada approach and insists that's what's happening.
Premiers surprisingly answer questions from journalists when they're asked, and they don't all have the same views. That's as old as Confederation. But in the meetings I've been in and in my conversations with premiers, they recognize the importance of the country speaking with one voice.
Another premiers meeting starts Sunday while the federal government says it will recruit hundreds more people to protect the border starting next year. More of its plan is expected in the fall economic statement on Monday. Rafi Boudjikanian, CBC News, Ottawa.
2 people are dead and 2 others injured after a tractor-trailer crash on Highway 11. OPP say it happened just after 8 this morning, the highway closing for hours as police try to figure out what happened. Police confirm video posted on social media shows the aftermath, a fiery scene after 2 trucks crashed between Long Lac and Hearst, Ontario. Both drivers were pronounced dead at the crash site, with a passenger in each truck taken to hospital in stable condition. OPP are asking for anyone who may have dashcam footage or witnessed the crash to call OPP in Geraldton. Cottage country is used to winter weather, but heavy snowfall across the region has led to a state of emergency in Gravenhurst and Bracebridge, still declaring a significant weather event. Now, with this weekend's milder temperatures, the mayor of Bracebridge sharing an update with us on cleanup efforts.
We had a little bit of respite after last weekend and a little bit of a mild spell, but that just didn't allow any kind of significant melt. And of course, Wednesday, Thursday received in Bracebridge anyway, another 50 or so centimeters. Over the last 10 days, probably about 200 centimeters of snow. It's about 6.5 feet. So where we're at now, obviously, our public works crews have been out in full force, making sure that our road networks are open and continue to be open. Generally, we use the first snowfall of the year, which is usually pretty manageable as kind of a shakedown of our equipment. This just came on like gangbusters, and so any of the unanticipated breakage of equipment, obviously that has happened, and that kind of slows things down a bit. I know that our sidewalk plows have gone through a few ups and downs, but our staff have been quick to make sure that any repairs are made and they're back out there doing their job. Coming forward over the next week, obviously the forecast is a little bit in our favor.
One of our producers, Andrew, also chatting with the mayors of Gravenhurst and Parry Sound. Much calmer for them today. They were enjoying some sunshine. Let's bring in Ward Anderson. He's tracking the forecast for us. Ward, when you hear, though, like 6.5 feet of snow in the past week or so for Bracebridge, like that's kind of mind-boggling to think.
It is, especially when you think of the fact that we're already kind of used to lake effect snow in Ontario, but that's daunting for anybody, even people who've lived it their entire lives. The good news is there's not going to be a lot of snow in the forecast going into tomorrow. It's been very cold, as you know, across the province for the past several days, very frigid, feeling close to -20 in our nation's capital. But as we go into Sunday, right in the wee hours of Sunday morning, this weak but wet system is coming up from our southern southwestern border, right across our border, bringing in some precipitation. It's going to bring in some rain, slushy snow, freezing rain as well. First in parts of northern Ontario, looking at Sault Ste. Marie, Thunder Bay, and then right up through Windsor and London, with a second system coming through early Monday morning. But for tomorrow, what we're really looking at is that rain coming up right there through the province. And by Sunday evening, right around the Golden Horseshoe, you're looking at this potential for freezing rain. And that's always something to focus on. Even though it's not a lot of rain, that freezing rain is the thing you've got to look out for when we worry about those slick conditions. But we'll be cold and wet all day tomorrow.
Okay, thanks, Ward. We'll talk to you a little later on in the show. Toronto swimming sensation Summer McIntosh smashing yet another world record.
We're about to break that record with number 24 because Summer McIntosh is about to get another one. The great Canadian kid, Summer McIntosh, a world record. Amazing, an amazing swim, 4:15.48.
The 18-year-old racing to gold in the 400-meter individual medley at the short course swim championships in Hungary. Devin Haru is there poolside. He got to speak to McIntosh moments after her big win.
Well, Summer McIntosh, I think we've all sort of composed ourselves after that. Have you made sense of a more than 3-second drop of this world record?
Honestly, I'm still trying to catch my breath after that race. I'm a little bit lightheaded right now. I think I almost fainted in waiting to go to the medal ceremony. So yeah, definitely really pushed on that race overall and really took it to the extent I had to get that time.
It is your 15th World Championship medal. Try and make sense of that.
That's honestly crazy. I still remember my first World Championship, so to now be here with my 15th one is absolutely wild. I had no idea I had that many, to be honest. I'm not trying to just say that. So yeah, pretty crazy, and never my wildest dreams did I think I would be here.
Outstanding. Well done, Summer.
Thank you.
There's just no stopping her. Incredible. Okay, he's one of the most recognized faces in Toronto, but turns out there's quite a few people out there who resemble superstar Drake, many of them coming together this afternoon at a look-alike contest. The event was organized by a local baker who says she got a surprise message from the rapper himself offering a $10,000 prize.
Honestly, he just wanted to DM to know who I was, what my business was. So he's been such a sweetheart, like such a genuine person. I love this guy. This is all about Drake. This is all about his fans. This is a community gathering. We're just honoring and loving the Champagne Papi and the Sixth God.
Okay, let's have a look. There they are, contestants being judged on several categories who had the most style, entertainment, and creativity when honoring the Toronto rapper. A number of small businesses also taking part in the event. As you heard, Drake himself kicking in that $10,000 prize for the winner. Unfortunately, we can't show you who it is just yet because the event is still underway. We are heading into a quick break. We're back with you in 3 minutes. Police in the GTA say smash and grab jewelry store robberies are on the rise. Groups of thieves pulling off bold heists. Thomas Degla looks at what could be driving the crime spree and prompting workers to fight back.
Outside a Toronto jewelry store on a recent evening, at least 8 masked suspects are seen charging in, captured on security video trying to smash through the door, until quick-thinking staff reach for a sword to fight off those would-be robbers. Yes, for jewelry store workers, it's come to this.
We were scared. We were like, it was a scare to death kind of situation, you know, when somebody got into your store.
Area jewelers are reporting a steep rise in robberies, nearly 100 this year. Like this brazen smash and grab at a suburban mall last week that left one employee on the floor, injured and terrorized. The man recording this video runs after the robbers all the way to their car.
A lot of these stolen goods are being sold at less than scrupulous businesses, whether they're, say, cash or gold exchanges, or they're, say, a flea market.
Again, oh my God!
Police in Toronto say reported jewelry store robberies have doubled this year, while in some suburbs they've more than tripled. Watch as this suspect shows off a hammer, then takes off, with mall security left helpless.
It's worse. It's like a bad you cannot even imagine.
You see this stuff in movies, and when you witness it firsthand and when you go through that experience, it's definitely traumatizing.
So why are jewelers being targeted now? This industry expert has a hunch. As more consumers pay by card and fewer retailers carry much cash.
Jewelry stores are also not full of money, but they do have gold, and gold can be turned into money relatively easily, and gold prices have gone wild.
As for that sword-wielding store worker who warded off the would-be robbers, seconds later the whole group is seen running away, empty-handed. Thomas Daigle, CBC News, Toronto.
Plenty of festive traditions taking place across the province this weekend. Officers with Toronto Police giving out toys, gift boxes, and winter clothing to newcomers.
They're trying the best to make all the kids happy. Even me, I become happy when I saw the kids happy, when I see my family is happy.
850 children who have come from all across the world. Most of them have come from Gaza recently, and some have come from Ukraine and some other parts of the world, including South America. The goal here today is to make sure that the children who are celebrating their first Christmas season in Canada are greeted by police officers and receive a toy along with some winter clothing, jackets, and some gift boxes so they can have memorable first holiday season in Canada.
So he is one of 2 constables who spearheaded the annual event after coming to Canada as refugees. They've been collecting truckloads of donations since 2021. This is one of 6 events happening this weekend to give away toys and donations to newcomers who are spending their first holiday season in Canada. Another group busy this winter is Project Impacting Lives. They put together and give out care packages to people facing homelessness in the city. The founder says, big or small, giving back makes a difference.
You don't have to be distributing 10,000 care products to be able to make a difference. One person at a time. That's what we believe. One person at a time. Every single project, every single package, every single item is making a difference. And we could do this together.
You might recognize them. We've been following their journey over the last couple of years. The team is going nationwide for the first time this year. Each care package contains socks, gloves, and personal hygiene items, all to be donated across Ontario and in Vancouver. The team planning its next event in Ottawa on December 21st. Ward is back with us. You said two words earlier that together aren't that great. Cold and wet tomorrow. Not a good combo.
No, it is going to be cold and wet tomorrow, but if you like warmer and wet, then you're going to really like Monday. So it's cold, of course, right now, and it's been frigid for the past couple of days. The high pressure responsible for that is going to move its way out with this weaker low pressure system coming in from our southwestern border and making its way across the province throughout Sunday into the wee hours of Monday morning, with a second system coming throughout Monday later in the afternoon. But the big concern is this makes its way across the province tomorrow, starting, like I said, in the wee hours over there in Windsor and London. By the time it reaches afternoon, evening around the Golden Horseshoe and then closer over to our nation's capital, we're looking at this potential here for a good bit of freezing rain. Freezing rain is the thing we really want to look out for, of course. It can make driving treacherous, it can make walking treacherous. It's not actually a lot of rain coming through, although it will slowly move throughout the day. At the end of the day, or going into Monday, we're talking about probably about 15 to 20 millimeters around the Golden Horseshoe. But again, it's that freezing rain that we want to look out for. But then by the time we get into Monday, even with more rain coming, look at how those temperatures change. We're feeling like we're in the minus teens, well down in there right now. And then look at that, feeling 7 degrees, 5 above where we should be, or how it would normally feel this time of year. And it will be milder as we go into next week until next weekend. Going to feel more like November for the first part of our week.
Take that. Thanks so much, Ward. Before we go, the world's largest gingerbread village is now on display in New York City. It's called Gingerbread Lane, and it's all the work of one very dedicated artist.
I work in 3 mediums: icing and gingerbread and candy.
Ooh, he's earned the Guinness World Record for largest gingerbread village, now on display inside the shops at Columbus Circle. The Missouri native is a former fine dining executive chef whose lifelong love of Christmas inspired his career change. His schedule is a little bit like Santa's. He's already begun working on next Christmas's creation. You have to love the devotion. Well, that is our show for you tonight. Thank you so much for watching.